Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Cowboys urged to six-time Pro Bowl free agent and game-changer move. It's not too late for the Dallas Cowboys to make a major addition to their roster as there are some established names still in free agency. There are areas on both sides of the ball that Dallas could address, and Calais Campbell would go a long way to reinforcing the defensive line. Campbell is one of the most senior players in the league at 38. But Blogging the Boys writer Tony Catalina believes he's the right kind of short-term addition. Age is certainly a factor for the Cowboys front office in the overwhelming majority of situations. However, for a one-year rental at a position of need, Campbell may be the perfect signing for the Cowboys. On a pure production level, with no added outside factors, Campbell being inserted into the interior of this defensive line with the pass rushers they have on the outside could be a game-changer for this defense, Catalina wrote on May 23. Campbell has hopped around the NFL in recent years as he enters the twilight of his career. But even at his age, the numbers show that the defensive lineman is still effective. Campbell initially made his mark in the NFL as an Arizona Cardinal, first joining the team as a second-round pick in the 2008 NFL Draft. Campbell spent 9 years with the team, making 2 Pro Bowls and racking up 107 tackles for loss. However, Campbell's best NFL season came with the Jacksonville Jaguars. After signing with the Jags in the 2017 offseason, Pro Football Reference states that he earned 14.5 sacks and forced 3 fumbles that year. He was named a first-team All-Pro for the first and only time of his career. Campbell followed up with 10.5 sacks the following year. But his age 33 season in 2019 was when he clearly began to drop off production-wise. In 2020, Campbell joined the Baltimore Ravens, where he would total 11 sacks over 3 seasons. His switch to the Atlanta Falcons before the 2023 season was a positive, though. Campbell earned 6.5 sacks, his best since 2019, and racked up 11 tackles for loss. He's clearly not the same producer he was in the late 2010s. But he hasn't dropped off nearly as much as some aging pass rushers. Any free agency move that doesn't break the bank is one the Cowboys should consider. While Dallas is tight on space, they are in a winning window, and Campbell is a cost-effective addition. Spotrac states that the Falcons paid Campbell a $7 million salary for his services in 2023. While that isn't extremely cheap, the Cowboys could ideally get him signed on a cheaper deal, considering they are considered playoff contenders. That being said, Spotrac also estimates that Campbell's market value is around $7.5 million a year. So a cheaper deal may be possible, but it may not be easy to pull off. If Dallas was interested, it may be beneficial to wait until closer to the season. Campbell clearly wants to play, but still doesn't have a team. Waiting until the late summer can force a free agent's hand. Cowboys' Dak Prescott breaks silence on contract, don't play for money. As the Dallas Cowboys approach the 2024 season, perhaps the biggest storyline is the looming Dak Prescott contract extension. Jerry Jones and company have a huge decision to make soon, as the Cowboys quarterback enters the final year of his deal. However, while the local and national media and Cowboys fans everywhere fret about whether or not Prescott will be in Big D after this season, the QB himself says he's not worried about it. "I don't play for money. Never cared for it, to be honest with you, yeah," Prescott said, per ESPN, after the Cowboys' OTAs on Wednesday. "Would give it up just to play this game. So, I allow that to the business people to say what it's worth, what they're supposed to give a quarterback of my play, a person of my play, a leader of my play. For me, it's about, as I said, control what I can control and handle that part, and the rest will take care of itself." What Prescott can control is his play on the field, and that was excellent last season. Prescott led the league in completions, 410, and passing touchdowns, 36, while throwing for 4,516 yards and just 9 interceptions. This performance led to a 12-5 record and an NFC East crown for the boys. It also meant Prescott made his third Pro Bowl, second-team All-Pro, and was second in NFL MVP voting to Lamie Jackson. After all that, though, Dallas once again disappointed in the playoffs, shockingly losing their opener at home to the Green Bay Packers. And therein lies the rub for Prescott and the Cowboys. As good as he and the team are in the regular season, playoff success always seems to elude them. Now, this isn't all Prescott's fault by any means. Jones, Mike McCarthy, and a plethora of Cowboys players deserve blame as well. Still, Prescott's playoff record of 2-5 speaks for itself and makes it seem like a Cowboys Super Bowl run led by the QB may never come. Cowboys urged to add 69-sack pass rusher to fill roster hole. It has been quite a career for Yannick Ngakoue, especially in recent years. He went from a Pro Bowler in his second season with the Jaguars to locked into a contract confrontation that ended with him traded to Minnesota, which then traded him to Baltimore later in the season. And that was just 2020. He then went from the Raiders to the Colts to the Bears in the past 3 seasons. A talented veteran with a bizarre recent history sounds just about right for the Cowboys, doesn't it? His status as a realtor's favorite notwithstanding, Ngakoue is an NFL free agent who has 2 other qualities that should interest the Cowboys. He can pressure the quarterback, and given the current NFL calendar, he can be had on the cheap. The Cowboys have one of the best edge rushers in the NFL, of course, in Micah Parsons, and have an ideal complement on the other side in DeMarcus Lawrence. But depth is still an issue, and the Cowboys are likely to rely on second-round rookie Marshawn Kneeland. Last year's primary backup, Doris Armstrong, left for the Commanders in free agency. A veteran depth piece would be useful. And at CBS Sports, they're advocating Ngakoue to be that depth piece. The Cowboys, of course, were decimated in free agency, with 8 players so far leaving the team to sign elsewhere. A few more, Stephon Gilmore, Jaron Kearse, are likely to follow. The Cowboys have not done much to replace those players, instead relying on the draft. That's where Kneeland could come in. But the Cowboys could use a plan B. That's Ngakoue. As CBS's Garrett Podale wrote, should the Cowboys to be looking to replace Armstrong's production, journeyman edge rusher Yannick Ngakoue, who will be 29 years old in his 9th NFL season in 2024, could help fill in the gap in the pass rush department. He doesn't have a reputation for being a huge factor in the run game, but his 69.0 career sacks rank as the 9th most in the NFL since entering the league in 2016. That total is just above Chargers Pro Bowl edge rusher Joey Bosa, 67.0, and below Chiefs All-Pro defensive tackle Chris Jones, 75.0, in that span. Ngakoue can be a situational pass rusher, working on third downs to add some pressure on the quarterback. The Cowboys were the number 2 team in pass rushing last year, per Pro Football Focus, and obviously want to stay near the top of the league. The Cowboys, of course, are dealing with a tricky cap situation, and it will help that they could get Ngakoue for a veteran minimum deal. Ultimately, the Cowboys see Kneeland, who played at Western Michigan, being a key contributor, but Ngakoue can be a bridge in that respect, and a mentor. Kneeland is known for his motor, but learning the finer points will have to come from the talented veterans around him. The number one thing about him is the high effort and motor that he plays with. Cowboys VP Will McClay said of Kneeland. Then to be talented, physically talented enough to play at this level. We noticed him early on. Brett Maxey is the area scout who brought him to our attention early, and the more you watch him, the more you see NFL traits and the traits that we are looking for on the defensive side, playing hard all the time and having the ability to rush the passer outside and inside. We've talked about it before, as hard as D-Law, DeMarcus Lawrence, played at Boise State, there are some similarities there. That is what we thought about him. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Yannick Ngakoue? Leave your opinion in the comments.